just put my weather station up temporarily. Eventually, when I put the doors on here, I need to know how far out the doors come and if this will even fit here. But the original Kings Highway clock and thermometer was here, and it was broke. So for some reason they had a hole here. There was no need for it, but there was a big hole in the wall. So anyway, I think if this will fit, it'll make a great place for my new weather station to sit. Sadly, it's so reflective it's hard to see everything. But boy, the humidity's higher in than out. I just opened all the windows, but no, the date's wrong. That's odd. I have to set that. It's a good thing because it is predicting the weather a bit for me and showing me the wind speeds and trends. Well, it is awkward with the got my door open behind me, letting a lot of light in. But it's good. It's a really good tool. Actually, I figured I'd show you what I did. See, there's a thin piece of wood here cut out, so there's an open edge. And what I've done is I've added some 2 bolts into the hanging brackets here, where the screws would go to mount into the wall, and some nuts and washers so that it will hang on that lip. And there it hangs safely, and I don't think there's any risk of that ever coming down accidentally. Like I said, I'll mount it properly when I get those doors up. I stapled down the carpet on the bench now, the bench slash battery box. I think it's nice, and I also think it's going to make it warmer and cozy in here, especially when I finish insulating that battery box. That'll add insulation on the back side of that firewall. That's the engine compartment right along there, and there's no insulation, there's just a sheet metal right there. So I still have to finish insulating that and then silicone sealing all that off, and it's looking good though. I think it's good. Now I still have to finish the carpet here. I haven't fastened it yet because I had those bubbles underneath, and then somebody suggested I pull out that metal piece from under the carpet where the table sticks in and then put it on top of the carpet. So I'm still considering that idea, because the original design was set up so there was just a hole through the carpet, and that was hidden, that metal piece. But I don't know, I don't think I could do such a good job, and it would probably rag out with time right there. But I'm still keeping my options open before I fasten this carpet down fully. Just for everybody's peace of mind, I'd like to show you the fan sucking air through the battery box. So the air inlet is under the inverter where I drilled holes before, and that will suck air through the whole battery box and then push it down outside. And that fan has a little bit of force, and I'll show you outside how much air is moving from that thing. Look at the grasses moving down here just from that fan, and that's a long way off the ground. The fan is like, let me see, here's the gas tank. The fan is about right here, and that's that high off the ground, blowing that grass that hard. So that's quite a nice amount of pressure right there coming out of that fan. It's more actually than I think I really wanted. I think I might want to slow that down a little bit. Well, there's my bench with my boat seat cushion. That was from my old sailboat. That's all that's left. I've mentioned it before, but for those who don't remember, I used to have a sailboat till somebody went out and sunk it on me. Unfortunately, I still have the cushions from it. They were nice, but it almost fits my bench. It gives me a place to put my cup, my coffee cup on the side actually. So let me step back a little. There's the new living room. Baby cat's checking it out. I think it's good so far. How's this for some bad solar? It's 4 p.m. I'm getting 12 watts out of my 400 watts of solar. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 800 watts of solar. I'm getting 12 watts into my battery bank. It is cloudy and dark today. My generally bright and cheery motorhome is a little bit dark. It's a little bit cluttered yet too, but it's really dark out. The baby cat has stolen my chair, so I'm forced to continue working without a break. But anyway, there has been no sun yet today. If I can get this level, I'm going to try an experiment. I bought this a while back to make a waste vegetable oil burner, and I have here standard vegetable oil, and the idea is if I put a bit of vegetable oil in here, normally it will not burn, but as is with a fuel oil heating system, if you put paper in there and you ignite that paper and drop it into the burner, you should have ignition of your oil. Well, if your paper burns. Everything's damp right now. It's been raining. Humidity has been very high. The theory, my theory, is if I can get oil to burn in a cast iron frying pan, and that inside an antique kerosene heater frame that I have, I might be able to have a steady source of heat at night for my RV. And I'd like to use wood fire by day and vegetable oil by night. It's still burning, but it's really hard to get anything going right now because it's so damp. I think my flame is gone. So that's the theory. As with fuel oil though, oh, it's still burning. It's hot. I don't see a flame. Oh, there's a flame. It's burning. Actually, the oil is burning. But as with fuel oil, you have to get it burning first and preheat the oil to get the system started. And I'm hoping that I can do just that. The smoke that you see is from the actual vegetable oil burning. It's a very sooty source of fuel. I think I may have lost it. It's still hot. I'm not sure. I might have to try a wick idea. It's still burning down in there. But there's my theory. I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to be experimenting with ideas to get this type of a system going for a constant source of heat, because even in a post-collapse scenario, there are cars everywhere, and every car has about a gallon of oil. My idea is going to restaurants and auto shops and getting their waste oil to use as a fuel for nighttime, to have a steady source of fuel, of heat. It is still burning, but it hasn't really ignited in the pan, so I have to work on this theory a little bit here. Yeah, you can see that. Oh wait. I think if this was an enclosed burning chamber, it would heat itself up and might be more successful and productive. Now, oil is a safe source of fuel because it doesn't combust easily, and its flash point is very high. Now, I've set the kerosene heater body over top of the frying pan. Now, you can see it's still burning in there and smoking heavily. You can see the flames still going. This is like 20-30 minutes later. But it's only burning where the paper is acting like a wick in there, and that's not beneficial. That won't produce enough heat to warm my hands with. But the theory is at least a success in that I can burn vegetable oil in a kerosene heater frame and a cast iron frying pan. So I'm going to continue experimenting with this idea and try to improve on it and see if I can get this system to work, because it's going to be in the 30s tonight. I know I won't have a successful heating system overnight, and it's going to take some time overall anyway, because I am not putting holes in the motorhome, so I'm only going to use existing holes. And I have to figure where I want to pipe the heat in, and I'm going to have to build a waterproof, weatherproof shack for that. An insulated shed for the heater. I added more oil and some more paper to act as wicks to help heat this pan faster. And it's getting warm. It's getting warm. So I'm going to put the kerosene heater back over that. That'll help keep some of the wind off it a bit, and also see if the heater will help hold the heat inside. And it is acting as a chimney effect. The smoke was coming up through the heater and out the top. So I'm going to put the heater back over that and let that burn for a while and see what happens. Well, the cast iron pan is now too hot to keep my finger on. I can touch it, but only for a second. So it's heating up. The handle isn't hot yet. The stove is getting warm to the touch. It's still comfortable to hold though. But I don't have much of a flame yet. I wouldn't call this a furnace by any means. It's more like an oil lamp. The paper right now is acting as a wick and causing the flame to continue to burn, but I would by no means call this a furnace. Not yet. So I've got to improve on the burning chamber idea, but it is burning. But I'm going to let it go for a while and see what happens when it heats up some more. It's starting to burn hotter and hotter as it gets warmer. I've got a nice little bit of flame in there now, and I've got smoke pouring out the top. I don't know if you can see that. I can see it in the view of the camera, so hopefully that shows up. Nice bit of flame in there right now. So I think as the cast iron pan gets hotter, the flame will spread. So it's not a fast starting heat source. And the other problem is it's very sooty and smoking a lot. I hope this shows up on the camera. But that means I'm going to have to use a different way of transferring the heat into the RV. Oh yeah, there's a nice flame in there now. It's burning nicely in there now. Well, there's a nice flame now. Real nice flame. It's getting bigger and bigger. But I think that's as good as it's going to get. This is just working like a candle wick The paper I threw in there is the only place where it's burning. So, but the thing is getting hot though to touch. It's getting really hot to touch, which is a good thing. But I don't think it's enough fire to heat a home. Not yet. So that's back to the drawing board and see how I can improve this setup. I thought once the pan got hot, the flames would burn better. So I'm going to keep working. Now it's been maybe an hour, and I can't touch the sides of the stove. And especially here. This is really hot here. And considering I'm outside and there's a couple mile an hour breeze, this metal is being cooled by the wind. There's a nice amount of heat coming out the top of this. So I think this could heat my camper. Now I have to figure out how to get the heat minus the smoke inside. This is putting out a serious amount of heat right here. If I didn't have all this wind blowing on this thing, I wouldn't be able to touch it. It's hot. So I think it's a success. I have, where did I put it? I have to go to the hardware store. I have this valve from an antique spray, I think it was a spray painting setup. It's a metal valve with some brass fittings, and this went onto a glass jar full of paint. I think it was like the world's first airbrush system. I think that's what it was, is like an airbrush idea. But these fittings will be perfect, the valve will be perfect to make a oil control valve to control the flow of oil dripping into the burn chamber, which will then hopefully control the burn rate and the amount of heat kicking out of there. That's my idea so far. I'll probably take this into the hardware store next time I go and see what I can find that might screw onto that. It's just too cute. She knows I'm talking about her.